Hi, Erin. This is the clay mask project that I usually do with 6th grade. This would have been the 3rd time doing it, and I think that it's gotten better every time that I've done the assignment. The kids really enjoy making masks, although they are sad that they cannot wear them. So that's probably the first question you'll get. So the first thing that I do is, on the first day, I hang up a bunch of prints of different masks from around the world, different cultures, different time periods. You are totally welcome to use those materials. I will keep them over for you by the portfolio that has all the finished artwork that's been matted and labeled and ready to go to the Festival of the Arts in May. Or I know you're PowerPoint, you're into that, so you could do that or just show them images online, but I think it really helps to get their creative juices flowing if you give them some references first. And so we just talk about masks, they tell me what they know about masks, what they're used for, and then I segue into that and say that a lot of the masks that I'm showing them are coming of age masks. So kids their age becoming adults in a lot of their cultures means becoming teenagers, and so they represent where they've been, where they are, and where they're going. So that's what I've done for the brainstorming for this project lately. So here's the brainstorming sheet that I filled out with them. I have them go through it and sketch and also write so that they get some ideas. And I tell them, you know what, if the symbol that you're trying to represent, you don't know exactly how to draw it, do the best you can, and then that's going to be your responsibility to find a reference. I always tell them they find a reference, I will help them draw it or help them sculpt it. I'm trying to put it in their hands. So the first thing I have them do is think of 3 symbols that represent them as a person in the past. And that means like the last 3 years. So I tell them, you know, well, I'm an artist, so a symbol for that would be paintbrushes. I'm really into gardening, so fruits and vegetables. And then I did a running shoe because I love to run, and then fish because fish kind of have a symbolic meaning to me anyway with my personality. So I do those, and then I have them do the present, and then also the future. And I show them that you can use symbols that are actual objects, and then I say, you know what, I did a little research. You can also find symbols from other cultures that are a little bit more abstract. Like I found that this spiral symbol in a lot of cultures means mother. So I give them those examples. Then I tell them that the next thing that they have to do is create a sketch of their mask, and it has to have all these features. It has to have a nose, a mouth, 2 eyes, a symbol from the present, symbol from the past, symbol from the future, and an area of texture. So I go through the whole process of showing them that. I also really encourage them that you can have some of these things double dip. For instance, you can have a symbol that represents an eye that also represents your past. So for instance, instead of doing a regular human eye here, I have a radish or a beet that represents my past. And I encourage them to use symbols and use masks that reference animals or humans, doesn't matter, it can be both. And I tell them it's going to be really, you know, it's not going to look like Mickey Mouse. It's not going to look like Donald Duck. It's not going to look like SpongeBob. It's going to be a whole combination of things from your imagination and then the symbols you chose to use. For texture, I have to really tell them about what that means. I actually bring out a piece of clay and show them, look, you can make texture in the clay. Imagine how that could translate into a symbol. So, yeah, look, you can make your fish scaly. Stuff like that. So this is the first day that they sketch and brainstorm. On the second day, we start using the clay. And the first thing I do is I demonstrate how to make the base of the mask. About 1.5 inches slice of clay, just whoop, right off of the block, and that will give you lots and lots of them. I do all of these beforehand, so they're not standing and waiting. I tell them that they're going to use their hands as their main tools for this, and then I say, make sure that you have your sketch by you. This is important. because your sketch will guide you. Don't try and remember it because it doesn't work out that way. So I show them, look, here's my sketch. This is what I'm going to look at as I go. And I show them you can pinch to make the shape that you're trying to do. You can pound on it with your hand. I tell them not to go less than 1/2 of an inch here, and I actually like bring out a ruler and show them this is 1/2 of an inch because a lot of them can't visualize that. And usually I put a couple rulers at every table and have them be accountable for that, but I go around while they're making the bases and make sure that it's 1/2 an inch at least. If it goes any thinner than that, it can't sustain all of the sculpture that goes on top of it, and also the reductive sculpture that goes into the sculpture making. And I tell them, you know what, it's fine if there are fingerprints in it. It's not going to be totally smooth. Clay is not a totally smooth medium, but a lot of them really want it to be, but it just isn't in the cards, kid. So I say, you know, this shape, obviously I'm not going to be able to pinch and pull and pound it into this leaf shape, so I'm going to need some tools. And all the tools that you're going to need are over by the door in those cabinets. They're all marked. And I just put them all in the old Clorox containers. And I show them, you know, a lot of these tools are things they use at home. So I say the butter knife is a really good tool for cutting out your clay forms. And I also talk to them about saving the extra clay. At this point, probably, I also, you know, will pass out on this day a bag with extra clay inside of it. And at this age, you have to tell them, you know, what's going to happen if this clay stays out all hour? It's going to dry up. That's right. So keep it in the bag. Keep the bag closed when you're not using it. But don't throw out this extra clay because we can use it. Put it in the bag. And sometimes I have them clean up these bags and tools and extra stuff at the end of every hour. Sometimes I just have them put it right back in the middle of their table. It just depends on how I feel and how responsible the kids are, but you've got lots of carts, so you decide. So after I have my lovely mask form, and I say it's rough. It's kind of like you see your friend in the distance. It's hard to see, you know, what they're wearing today, but the closer you get to them, the more detail you can see. And I say that's what clay's like too. So today I probably would show them additive and subtractive sculpture and do a little bit of demonstrating. I might show them how to do additive sculpture if it's something that's really dimensional. So I'll show them how to roll a sphere. And then I say, will this stay on here? Of course not. So I say, you kind of have to do relief sculpture. So if I wanted to do this beat right here, I'd do half of it because the flat surface would stick better. And then we talk about slipping, scoring, and smoothing. And a lot of them know about it from elementary school, but some of them don't, and some of them have forgotten. So it's good to go over at this point. Dave, can you stop it for a second?
If I stop it, then that ends the video.
Okay, it's fine.